Welcome to Emergence, Leading from the Field. Today's episode is called Body as a Field. Leadership begins in presence. Welcome back to Emergence. My name is Artemis Evangelidi, and I'm so glad that you are here. In this second episode, we begin where all true leadership begins, in the body. In the first episode, I spoke a little about emergence and leading not from control, from deep listening. Today, I want to explore how is it that we begin to listen, not just to the world around us, but to the field of our own body. This is foundational to the way that I work and live. And it's something I've come to learn, not just through study, but through experience, through my own body calling me back again and again to presence. So, why the body? Well, why do we begin with the body? In the world we live in, especially in professional or leadership spaces, the body is often an afterthought. We're trained to lead from the mind, to think fast, to act smart, to stay ahead. But the body is where our truth lives. It's where we feel intuition. It's where we store our experiences, trauma, knowing, and it's constantly communicating with us through sensation, contraction, ease, temperature, rhythm. When we ignore the body, we miss out on vital intelligence. But when we include the body, something powerful shifts. We slow down, we attune, and we respond rather than react. And in all honesty, we become more trustworthy to ourselves and to others. So when I say the body is a field, what do I mean? I mean that your body is not a machine. It's a living, sensing field of energy, memory, and relationships. It holds your stories, your patterns, your ancestry, and it receives information constantly from other people, from the environment, and from that which is unseen. And if we can learn to feel and attune to this field, we actually open the door to a very different kind of leadership. It's a kind of leadership that's deeply embodied, relational, and wise. I'd love to share a story with you, a story from my own life. And it's one of the many moments when my body spoke louder than my mind. So many, many years ago, I was in a leadership role where everything, looked right. On paper, it all made sense. The work aligned, the people were lovely, the cause was good. But at some point, I began to wake up with a knot in my stomach. And every time I had to make a decision, I felt my chest tighten. In meetings, I often felt distant, like I was watching myself from the sidelines, hearing myself speak, but I wasn't actually there. At first, I dismissed it. I told myself, you're tired, it's a lot of work, perhaps you're a little bit overwhelmed, or maybe it's a period of adjustment. Perhaps I wasn't picking up on the right cues. But over time, the sensations got louder. And, my body was asking me, it was begging me to pay attention, not in language, but in feeling. Now, I had been around the tracks enough to know that if my body is asking me to stop and pay attention, I need to stop and pay attention. So it took time, yes, and it took a little bit of courage to really listen. Sometimes we don't like what we're going to hear. Sometimes it can be a bit daunting or scary. Uh, but when I finally did, I realized I was compromising something very deep. And I realized that there was I guess, misalignment in values. Um, and so leaving that role was, yes, it was hard, and it may have been, one of the toughest decisions, especially when you're leaving behind a team that you love. But it was also one of the most liberating decisions I have made. And that experience really taught me something profound, and that is that the body never lies. Even when the mind is convincing, even when the world applauds, you know, even when you have all the reasons why, um, and you start to believe those reasons. But when we learn to trust that the body never lies, not blindly, but just a gentle, curious um, allowing, and when we do that consistently, we really do begin to lead in a new way. So that really brings me to presence as a leadership practice. And, I'm a student of presence, I'm a teacher of presence, I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly challenging my own assumptions. I don't always get it right. I'm the first to say that. There are many times when I have observed myself and thought, oh gosh, you've got to step back. You've got to take yourself out. And, sometimes that's what I do. I see that I'm no longer in alignment with presence. I'm no longer present. Um, Perhaps I'm no longer in alignment with my own integrity, and I will call myself out and pull myself out of there, quick smart, to give myself the space and the opportunity to come back to court, to come back to center, to come back to the groundedness. So, what does it mean to lead from presence? Well, let's start with what presence is. And it's a lot more than mindfulness. It's not about clearing your mind or, being perfectly calm. It's just about being here in the now, fully with what is, accepting what is, not resisting it, not trying to wish it away, but a realization that this is what it is and this is where I am. And it's only through that acceptance that I can forge a new path forward. And it's only when we're present that we can really sense what is truly happening and not just what we assume. So we can tap into what others are feeling, and we can understand what others are feeling beyond their words. So we can catch those subtle cues, the energy in a room, the shift in tone, the nonverbal cues, the shift in energy. And presence allows us to make choices from a place of clarity and alignment rather than, habit or urgency. Presence is truly the doorway to embodied leadership. And while that may sound hard or daunting or as though it's too much, I have good news. It's not that far away. You don't have to look for it outside. You don't have to do anything to try to find it other than come back into your body, because that is where presence lives. In this breath, in the next breath, in this moment. So I'd love to take you on a guided practice to come back to the field of the body, to really sense into presence through an exercise. So if you're in a space where it's safe and comfortable to do so, I invite you to join me in this short practice. Now, you can do this sitting or lying down. Just allow yourself to arrive where you are. Now, let's take 3 deep conscious breaths in and out together. A deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And one more time, deep breath in and out through the mouth. And we will start by beginning to notice the contact between your body and whatever is supporting you, whether it's the chair, the ground, the earth. Just feel that connection and allow yourself to be held. And now bring your awareness to the soles of your feet. Without judgment, just notice. Are they warm? Are they cool? Are they tingling? Are they still? How do your feet feel where they are? Breathing in deeply and allowing that breath to move all through the body, all the way down to the soles of your feet. And as you do so, just slowly bring your awareness up to your legs, moving up from your ankles to your knees, to your thighs, all the way up to your pelvis, to your backbone, to your hips, your belly. And as you do so, continue to breathe in deeply and notice any tension. And if there is tension, just bring the breath to the area where you feel tension. Allow the breath to dissolve that tension. And with every out-breath, just release. And perhaps you notice that there are areas in the body that feel completely at ease. Just take a moment to experience what that feels like. Just feel what is. There's nothing wrong with any of the feelings. There's nothing to judge, and there's nothing to do. Just allow. And I invite you now to turn your attention into your chest, into your heart space. What's here for you right now? Is it open? Perhaps it's tender Does it feel tight or maybe numb? Is there a warmth? Just notice what is. And allow your attention to just sit in your heart space for a moment. As you become attuned with what is going on in your body, what your awareness is allowing you to see and feel and experience. And you may like to turn your attention now to your shoulders, your neck, your jaw. Just let them soften. Let them just rest, just to be held by the space. Just allow them to be. And you can finally bring your awareness to your whole body. And I invite you to imagine your body as a field. See it as a living, breathing landscape, open, alive, and listening. Stay with that for a few moments. Now I invite you to take one more deep breath in, all the way in, through the nose. Allow that breath to move through the body, the body of awareness that you have just been resting in. And exhale. And as you do so, you may choose to wiggle your toes and your fingers a little bit, just gently bringing your awareness back into the space where you're sitting or where you're lying, turning on the senses one by one. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Now, I hope that that was a beautiful experience into the field of the body. And it was just a simple practice, a simple guided practice that just allows you to kind of go within and see what's there. What can you sense? What's in that field? Now, this kind of practice may seem simple, and we did a very short one. But over time, if you practice it and you do it more and more and sit in that awareness for longer, it's completely transformative, because when you bring this level of awareness into your body and then into your leadership, so into a conversation or a meeting or a difficult situation, or when you have to make a decision, people feel it, right? And it's not that you're just thinking clearly, you're being present, and you're being present clearly. And really, you become an anchor. You become an anchor, not by effort, but by embodiment. So it's that opportunity to just come into center, come into your core, into your groundedness. And in that presence is where everything makes sense. So, yeah, the more you practice it, really, the more natural it becomes. And it provides an opportunity to pause. It provides that opportunity to be responsive and not reactionary, but it also helps you start to deepen the communication pathways with your own body. And it's just such a transformative and really wonderful experience. So, as we get to the end of today's episode, I just want to leave you with some thoughts. Um, Leadership really isn't about having all the answers. You'll never have all the answers at any given time for all the myriad of situations and scenarios that can come your way. But it really is about being present and leading from that presence, leading from that space. The body is your compass. It's where you live. It's where the intuition within you lives. It's where emotion and wisdom meet. It's the crossroads. And it's always here. It's always available to us. So I really do invite you to begin cultivating this relationship gently, with curiosity and with kindness and self-compassion. Um, Not so much as another thing to do, but just as a way to return to yourself. Because when we lead from presence, that's when we are leading from the field. And that changes everything. It truly does. So I thank you for sharing this time with me. If this episode resonated, I'd love for you to share it, subscribe, or leave a review, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And not only do I get to hear from you and your own experience, but it really does help this space grow and this community grow. And I'm curious, how did that feel? Right? What did you sense within the body when you joined me on this small practice today? And you can also connect with me through my website, artemisevangelidi.com. And, I share resources, there's all the upcoming events, and so much more. In our next episode, we will explore the concept of systems as living fields and how organizations, families, and even projects have their own energetic fields, and how leadership shifts when we begin to sense and respond to the field, not just to the surface. So until then, stay with yourself, lead with presence, and allow what wants to emerge to emerge. See you next time with presence, Artemis.